Hello and thank you for joining us. My name is Marie Yambo. As usual, our social media handles at Marie Yambo at KBC Channel 1 on Twitter, KBC Channel 1 TV on Facebook. Today we speak about menstrual hygiene. Now, menstrual hygiene encompasses very many aspects. There's the physical, there's the emotional, and also mental, and not forgetting the nutritional aspect of it. Now, to speak to us about menstrual health is none other than Fatma Mohammed. She is an expert in wellness and also the founder of Wellness Kenya, KE. Thank you so much, Fatma, for coming.
Thank you for having me, Maria. I'm always happy to be here.
And always happy to have you also. You know, we learn quite a lot when it comes to issues of nutrition,
Thank you so
which
much.
you're actually big on. Now, before we delve into, the real issue of menstrual hygiene, menstrual health for that matter, maybe you could talk to us, just give us an overview of what menstrual health is all about.
Well, menstrual health basically is just the health of a woman as she goes through her menses. And as we understand menstruation, this is a time or a period where a woman's body actually undergoes certain processes just so that a woman can have her period. Now, it actually focuses on your physical well-being during this time where you're experiencing menstruation, meaning, are you taking care of your physical body? Are you experiencing pain? Is your period regular or irregular? Are you missing your period, like women who struggle with PCOS? So the physical aspect is really important to focus on. And also the mental aspect that comes with it. For instance, women who are going through their period, some women actually experience really severe PMS, so the premenstrual syndrome, and also they experience mood swings. Their emotions actually dip very, very low. There's some women who even tell you they don't want to experience that time anymore because they feel like they go through such an emotional whirlwind that they don't want to experience their period anymore. So the mental aspect is really big. And also the social aspect of it when it comes to menstrual health. Social in the sense that, number one, this is a topic that is highly stigmatized, which I have to thank you for even bringing it, to everyone else out there so that they can learn. And because the stigma surrounds it, there's a lot of shame. There are things that we cannot openly talk about as women, which is really sad because we'll go through a period where we are going through menstruation for a larger part of our lives, and we don't talk about it, and then we skip right into menopause, which is another one that we don't talk about. So it's high time that we understand that the physical aspect is important, the mental aspect is important, and also the social, meaning we need to tell everyone around to support this woman that's going through this phase, to support conversations around it, and also for the men in their lives to understand them when they notice that there are certain changes going on during this time of the month. Yeah.
And we'll be delving into the different aspects that you've just mentioned, and seeing how best you can manage them, but especially with your nutrition, because nutrition is key. It's key to every aspect of your wellness. But I know you also work a lot with the young girls, in supporting menstrual hygiene and all that. What are you seeing in terms of, ideally, your menses starts from, is it the age of 13? Somewhere around there, between 13 and 14. But you also tell me that you're seeing more and more girls coming in, or at least experiencing their menses quite early.
Yeah, we're actually seeing younger girls actually getting their menses, so at a much younger age. Usually it would be between 13, 14, 15, but now we have girls who are 11 that are getting their menses, girls who are 12 years old, some even younger, which is really surprising. But the hormones are actually coming to play here, and also lifestyle factors, as we see the difference in what we're eating now and the way we're living. We're not moving as much, we're not doing as much as we used to before. So because of that, unfortunately, our hormones and how the hormones are secreted and the levels are not at par, and this eventually leads to kind of like early maturity when it comes to, you know, girls. And also there is there are rampant cases of women experiencing even early menopause, meaning instead of them even hitting menopause at a certain age, a much later age, they're actually experiencing it much younger. And also something interesting, we're seeing younger girls experiencing really lots of period problems, like really painful periods, really heavy periods, really irregular period, meaning they get their period now, then they don't get it in the next 2-3 months. And there are some girls who don't get their period anymore. Something that we noticed, especially the past 2 months, is we're now getting more women and more clients who are saying that they're struggling with their fertility at age 23. Actually, our youngest is at age 21, and she's struggling with her fertility because she hasn't had her menses in about 4 years. That's a very long time. It's key to mention that menstruation is supposed to be a natural process in your body. If you're not going through menstruation, that is not normal, unless you are going through perimenopause or menopause. Or there are factors that are, you know, actually taking place, like medication or illness. But there's something that I feel like women need to understand. Menstruation is supposed to happen because it is a natural process. If it does not happen, that means that the uterine lining is not shedding. And if your uterine lining is not shedding, there is a problem there, because that means this uterine lining keeps on getting thicker and thicker, and with time you are more susceptible to conditions such as endometrial cancer, because that is your endometrial area. Okay, so I feel like more women need to understand why this is important, as opposed to just them saying, if I miss my period, then that means I'm safe, then I might not become pregnant. Because we're seeing younger girls actually practicing sexual intercourse at a very young age. And so they're more concerned about making sure that they don't get pregnant, as opposed to looking at
the health
their
aspect
own
of it.
health. Yes.
You know, and actually when you're talking about, you know, menstrual health and the stresses that come with it, and maybe that is something that our counterparts need to understand. It's a natural process, but it also comes with its own stresses.
Yes,
you know, it's physical, it's emotional, you know, and all manner of things. But we'll be getting to talk about that. Now, just touch a little bit about the kind of diet that we're taking right now, you know, vis-a-vis what we are supposed to actually take to ensure our menstrual health.
It's really sad when you ask women about their diet, because a lot of people are eating what they're eating because they are not really informed on what they need to eat to be healthy. So you find that we're now eating more processed foods, number one. So anything that is processed and you find it, it's not in its natural state, basically. If you're not going to, if it's not planted or grown, if it's not from God, then that means processes have gone through it. So these processed foods unfortunately have a lot of chemicals. They actually have a lot of preservatives in order for them to stay longer on the shelves, so that you can be able to eat them. If you can be able to get your hands on foods still in their natural state, the better. Something else that's also interesting is that now we're seeing more and more chemicals in the natural foods that we're eating. When it comes to fertilizers, they're not natural anymore. And also we're looking at foods that are actually leading to making women more susceptible to getting tumors, you know, even though they may not be cancerous tumors. They may be tumors such as fibroids, or even growths like endometriosis, which is an overgrowth around the endometrial area. So the diet at the moment does not support menstrual health. And people are doing a lot of junk food, foods high in sugar. Actually, the African diet, interestingly enough, if people went back to how we used to eat, we would actually be healthier, because you would find that we are eating more ngwashe, ndoma, we're eating more matoke.
A lot of food which has fiber.
Yes, a lot of fiber.
Exactly.
And complex carbohydrates.
Exactly.
But now we have moved more towards refined carbohydrates, which means if you're doing your rice, you're doing white rice, which is very high in glycemic index and sugar. And also if you're doing your ugali, then it's white ugali, and it
doesn't really have the husks and all that.
Exactly.
Okay, so that is as far as, can I say, the bad diet is concerned.
Yes.
So now let's get to, can I say, the good diet, or what we're supposed to be eating. First and foremost, at least I understand that iron is top on the list.
Of course.
Of what you know, women in general need to take, because of the processes that their bodies go through in terms of their menses and all that. But more so for the young girls, how important is iron in?
I would say it's very, very important, because iron is actually one of the minerals that you need in order for you to be able to have proper reproductive health. Even a woman who's about to maybe start her pregnancy journey, this is really key. They have to check their iron levels, make sure that they are at par so that they can be able to have a healthy pregnancy journey. So something that I want for every woman to understand, when you go through menstruation, you lose a lot. Other than, you know, what's in the blood, you actually lose a lot. There are minerals that you lose, and because of that, you need to replenish them. The same way when a woman goes through pregnancy, she has to supplement and do all that so that she can be able to support the health of another human being. And when that process is done, you know, they also need to replenish. So it's the same thing for us as women as we're going through menstruation. You know, so we need to actually supplement. We need to actually eat foods that are going to support that. When it comes to iron, it's important for you to eat both animal protein and plant protein to support your iron levels. This is important because I'm someone that for years I've been a vegan and I was not eating animal protein. But I also understand that when it comes to sources of iron that can be absorbed into your body easily, you actually need animal protein more. This is because foods like liver, foods like red meat, foods also like basically just meat in general will actually improve your iron levels because iron is in two forms. You have what is known as heme iron and non-heme iron. So there's iron that can be found in animal sources of protein. This is absorbed very fast by your body. If you do iron from plant sources, for instance, like the spinach and so forth, this is also good for you. The only thing is that the bioavailability, it's not absorbed as fast as if you were to eat the plant sources of iron. So what you need to do is to actually pair it with foods rich in vitamin C, because vitamin C and plant iron go really well, and then you can absorb it much better. So if you were to have spinach, then have it with things like tomato, have it with things like cabbage, because they're rich in vitamin C. Have them together so that you can absorb that iron in your body. But always add these foods to your diet, not just because you're going through menstruation or you're about to, because you need to actually support your body's health before you even get to that process, so that even as you lose, you know, a portion of that blood, you're not going to be struggling with dizziness and anemia, you know.
And dizziness is quite big,
is,
especially among young girls.
And
people
especially
are not eating well.
And if you have a heavy flow, that's a big one. For me, when I had fibroids, that was a big one. I had heavy flow and I would get really dizzy when I was at work. I've passed out many times just from losing a lot of blood because of having a heavy flow. So before I understood what I needed to do in order for me to support my health, it took a while, because everybody gives you all this information, but you need to listen to your body, as we were discussing before, so that you can actually support your health. So
I can see you have some, can I say, you know, food items on here. So maybe you can pick 2 or 3 of them and explain to us how helpful they are when it comes to nutrition.
Most definitely. Let me start with Ceylon cinnamon. This is what's known as cinnamon. Ceylon cinnamon. It's not the one that you normally cook with. This is actually different. But this type of cinnamon is important for women who are struggling with missing periods and also irregular periods. This is because when you're struggling with missing periods, chances are you actually have PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. This is a condition that comes about because you have cysts in your ovaries, and you also have higher levels of insulin in your body and blood sugar levels. So we need this so that it can regulate the blood sugar in your body, so that you can, once you regulate that, you will actually start seeing that your period is coming back. So this is really important. Let me go to this one, which is the turmeric tea. It's really important. This one is actually essential because it is anti-inflammatory. Turmeric as a natural food is actually the most powerful anti-inflammatory food. So if you want to beat inflammation because you're struggling with very painful periods, or you're struggling with issues like circulation, because there's some women who tell you they have clots in their period, which actually looks, it's kind of like clots that are coming out of the Nini because they're having their period. This is really important because it reduces the inflammation in the body and also reduces all of these other symptoms that come about. In fact, when you're going through your period and you touch your stomach area and you feel like it's very sensitive and painful, then know that you have serious inflammation. Your body is actually inflamed. This is one of the best ways for you to regulate that. And what we have here is also the flax seeds. Flax seeds are amazing for as plant estrogens. This is what's known as phytoestrogens, and they also contain something known as lignans, which actually help you in making sure that you can control and improve your reproductive health. So when it comes to your uterine health, the health of, around your womb area, when you have your period, you actually need healthy sources of fat and lignans to support proper hormone production, because when you're going through your period, there are phases where some hormones will actually go really, really high, and there are others, the levels are going to dip very low. This is why you'll experience either mood swings, you'll be cranky, you'll have nausea, you'll feel bloated, and so forth. So you need to regulate your hormones so that when your period comes, you almost don't notice it has come, which is the most amazing thing I would say about all the women who we have worked with. Once they have actually started the products, they will tell you, I had no idea my period had come.
Because that's what I was just about to tell you. I'm sure there are very many people who are thinking like, really? You mean I can actually go through this without any form of pain or anything like that?
Very much so.
So I'm seeing chia seeds here, I'm seeing moringa.
Yes, moringa, let's talk about moringa actually, which is really important. Moringa is very important because it has over 90 vitamins and minerals together. Because as we've mentioned, when you're going through menstruation, you're going to be losing a lot of minerals and you need to replenish. So this is one of the best ways. And if you're not really big on taking, earthy kind of teas, you can actually turn it into a smoothie. You can make your smoothie with fruit, vegetables, then add a spoonful of moringa into the blender and blend, and you'll actually be taking the moringa that way. If not, you can boil it, as if you're making tea, and you can add the turmeric tea in it, you can add the cinnamon into it and take it. And I promise you, this is one of the easiest ways that women have actually been able to balance their hormones and get their period back and even heal from fibroids and other conditions.
And this is just not for people who have their regular, menses. So which means if you're experiencing anything irregular, this is all good for you to take so that you can balance the hormones and all
There's
that.
something that I had mentioned to you. There are many articles that you're going to read online, and unfortunately every information that's out there is geared towards something, selling something, right? And okay, we live in a capitalistic world, we have to admit, but here's the thing, I prefer to explain to you what's going on with your body first. That way, even when I'm not there, even when Wellness K is not there, you still understand why your body is going through these changes, and then you can do something about it. Something as simple as just boiling hot water and adding a spoonful of this turmeric tea to it, and you drinking it during your period can actually reduce the pain and can actually get rid of the water retention.
And the water retention, you're talking about bloating. So is that
and the
symptom?
weight gain. It's one of the biggest ones, because you see when you're about to when you're approaching your period, you notice you feel like you've gained weight.
There's cravings.
And the cravings are quite serious. So the thing is that when your hormones are actually they're almost going haywire. So because of that, you find that the cravings are coming about because of your blood sugar levels. So your blood sugar levels will actually go really, really high a day before. That's why you might really want to have chocolate, or you might really want to have something like that. But once you've understood that it's just your hormones and your blood sugar levels, you know exactly what to do. You can actually reach for some cinnamon and have something with cinnamon in it, or you can actually make a cinnamon tea and drink it, because cinnamon is nature's insulin. It will naturally balance that and actually get rid of that craving for good.
Okay, so we've talked about the nutritional part of it, and I just want to touch a little bit on the mental aspect, and also the, can I say, emotional, and especially you're telling me where their young girls were struggling. I'm not so sure whether it's just their health or even how to, there are other commodities that you need during this period, and they'd rather, they'd rather do away with their say their
ovaries and their wombs.
Yeah, hysterectomy.
This is something that I find really sad. We've had several women, young women, tell us that they would rather have a hysterectomy, which means they want to remove their ovaries and their womb so that they don't go through their period anymore, because it is that dreadful. And that's because when their period comes, they almost become a completely different person. Their mood swings are quite severe. They get to reach really low levels emotionally, and they go through serious depression. And then the pain is so severe that they don't want to go through it anymore.
Wow.
So because of that, I found that this was important for us to actually provide natural solutions to menstrual issues, because I was seeing that this issue was becoming quite rampant. When it comes to the mental aspect, it's not your fault as a woman. Actually, it's your hormones taking a dip. When it comes to hormones like progesterone, actually, that's a hormone that's really big on how you feel. So when it actually takes a dip, you're going to feel quite low. You're going to feel really moody and depressed. So it's not something that you've caused. It's not your fault. And also that's why we want for men around to understand it's not our fault. The body is actually doing something. The best way is for you to support that through making sure that your diet actually has protein and healthy fats, because these two are essential in producing natural hormones in the right content. So if you're going to, in the right quantity, sorry. So with your plate, make sure that you're not doing too much refined carbohydrates. Make sure that you add protein. If you're going to have fish, if you're going to have whatever you're going to have that's protein, and add some healthy fats to it. An avocado, you have flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, all these, because now this is going to make sure that your hormones are secreted in the right amounts, so that you don't experience the dips or the way too high. Yeah.
Fatma, I'm sorry, our time is
I know,
run out.
I know.
You know, but just take a few seconds and just talk about you advocate for menstrual hygiene and health at the same time. So you have something coming up. Maybe you can just talk generally about it.
Yes, we're actually very happy. We have our Period Peace campaign. We're trying to make sure that women all over the country actually experience peaceful periods, because it's very possible. So we've been going to different media houses. We started in Mombasa, and soon enough, actually in a couple of days, we'll be going to Changamwe Secondary School, so that we can be able to distribute sanitary pads. So if you really want to donate, make sure that you do so. One pad is just 70 shillings. You can donate 5 pads, it's 350, or you can buy a carton, 1350, and you can send it to our M-Pesa number. It's 0716-302-661. We want for all of you to actually experience peaceful periods, because it's possible. And if you have any problems related to your menstrual health, make sure that you check out Wellness KE. We'll be very happy to help you.
Thank you so much, Fatma, for
you.
all the information you've given us today.
Thank you.
I'm sure both men and women, we've learned, it's a natural process, but it's not supposed to be painful.
Yes.
It's supposed to be peaceful.
It's supposed to be peaceful.
Exactly. Yes. And how nutrition plays a very big role in that. So thank you also back at home for tuning in. We hope to see you again next time. My name is Marie Yambo.